This is Gerald Johan van Waas, an educational channel that is related with the theory that you can find in the development of the word, and with some applications in the applications of the word. The theory is showing how our language, how our letters have a meaning. They can be transformed into forms. They can show you how the forms are formed when we translate them into forms. And basically, it also says that it follows certain rules to do so. But let's go back even further in our mind, in our history, in the origin of language. And why do I do that? Because maybe people still think that it is not possible, that it's not possible that there is a theory that does this. And why we do this? Because we do so-called don't do this consciously at all. Now let's go then back to the origins that everybody has. Our language has developed from sign language, basically, because in an intonation also. So in the beginning, it was enough to say "huh." Everybody still understands it. In every culture, they understand the same kind of intonation, like "huh, poof, huh." These kind of things, these kind of very simple intonations. In Eastern languages, you have these kind of intonations in certain words that you can still recognize them in certain words, in certain sounds. Even like in Chinese, you can really recognize these basics still. We forgot about them here in, let's say, let's now call the Western languages that I'm involved in. They forgot these things most of the time. They forgot all of the parts that make up language and that make up the signs that we recognize. One of the signs that are recognized besides the intonations, we also have the language of signs itself. If we discover how our brain is developed over the years and where the language center is, the large part is the same thing as the sign language, so that we can understand each other simply by having a facial expression is the first thing, but also that we recognize directions in this. That's the next thing, and the letters are the directions, and I can prove you simply by taking signs that the sign language itself is already a very large foundation which we still should remember, and they come from even these Neanderthals, which didn't have a language of speech, but they didn't have the vocals as well. It wasn't necessary. It was very cold in those days, so why should they develop a language that needs, for instance, the element of time too much? The time dependency only started when the seasons started to appear more clearly. Then you become time dependent. Then you need more reference points than the direct reference points, like the intonation, like the directions in the direct space. But also within our space, we can use letters as direct directions, especially in very short words. We would be able to recognize these directions, and I'll give you some examples. And these examples I can give by simply translating the letters into signs. And I'll do that now. Just the vowels alone. If you have the E, where you can still use E, A, E, I have an idea is still present there, or the pointing out is also E, 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 we still use that. We have this association in the back of the mind, and when we have words with this, we have these E recognizable in all of them. Just remember this. The E. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. We remember them, and we have already most of what it is. There's a reference point of, oh, this is a spatial reference we have. The A is much more strong, it's steady, it is a really physical thing. The U is more downward. You have other vowels that are important. These are the most important ones you have. And if we start to combine them with letters, it is possible that, for instance, I already said W and or F, or no, it's more the shape of the space, or the, like, if you combine, for instance, the letters, and also that's this together here. If we combine them, we have, for instance, the will, we, and will. The will. I will take the L like this, because this is the part that is in the it's beginning to develop, like the L. You can use this sign if you would like. So you have the will. You can remember that. If you have, for instance, the mill. That's the mill. Just remember that. That will be useful at some point. Or with the P is a, you can still remember it. So if you have I, pill, or the other way around, lip, lip. So in that way you can recognize these words, or if you say kill, have that as well. You can say if you have the right order, you quickly have these very basic movements that you can combine. Already in the combinations of these easy to remember movements, and we will remember them, that the w, or the m, or the l, is always in the back of our mind in everything which we do. And if we start to combine them, nowadays we associate things on paper, we associate things more abstract. We could still do that and start to recognize these things there. So that was my basic theory. We make books on paper. We don't make books with videos or with references of how we express ourselves to each other. That's gone. We are all in the homeworking department, but let's face the computers first before we face the video FaceTime references or meet each other. We don't do it. Well, we don't do that anymore. That's a pastime. So let's go to the combinations of letters. So I already said, like I said, I, L. So you have the pressing out of an insertion and develop something from there, or the other way around. You have the, what I immediately make a develop with it, go inwardly and have the pressing point. So if I make the combinations on paper in the right way, then with the pill can be associated easily as this pressing out inwardly with L, then as taking a form. And this taking a form, you also see, I have it in red there, that it is not just, you take it in, you have the inwardly, and what is developing further is also outwardly. You see that that's so you take it in, but the outwardly it's having it is giving away its physical whatever it is. It is. You can see it in the red pill there. In the red pill, you can notice where the L is making its physicality sensible on the outside, even if the E is inside. Lip is the other way around, so you have this of course at the end now this time. So the L, you have first the L, then the inwardly, and then the P at the end. So you get this pill or lip as almost opposites of the formal results. Just try it yourself and you will realize how an order of letters will take you to something else. Even with this L, I, try to get them together in your mind and make a physical object of it. And with the pill order or the lip order, you will get the opposite. To learn it a little bit, because you have to relearn this method a little bit, but that's how it works. Maybe easier with the next words. So the effect, of course, of pill will be that the effect of all of it will be outwardly, and will also spread outwardly, even if it started from inside, from an inside process, because there are a lot more associations that you can have to make it more, to give it more sense and give it more structure and to give it more background. But that's for another time. I'm going back to the basics here. So next is, so I have li, and then lick. If I design this, the lick, the L is this area of enlargement, and the E is inwardly, so it is a bit difficult how I can design it. So the E is too small for this, so I have to make it larger to make it work it together with the L from E, and then you break it. And if you break it, okay, then it can also break the E into two parts, and then I have the small part of the good size again, so I can imagine it. If I interpret it well, it also means that the physicality of L inwardly is enlarged first because of this physicality, but I can make a distinction with K. K is about distinction. I can make a distinction. So what is physical becomes larger inwardly, and it is done for a distinction. So that's one of the associations that you can make by learning to see what is going on with the letters. Another example, the other word is, instead of lick, I have kill. Start with the K, the E as well, it doesn't fit physical, so I have to enlarge it. Then after this enlargement, I have the L again. It doesn't add up. It's breaking apart small and small part, and I always try to make it physical. At the end, it's breaking apart. It's breaking away from its hanging together, and that's what the kill will do. It will break away from the becoming physical. The physical thing is the L. It's becoming physical. It's becoming physical after the break up, the breaking away from what I'm pointing at. I hope you more or less understand. Maybe the next example is more easy. Mills, I have this M, I, L. So inside the totality of the M, which is really all of the variations possible together, inside, becoming physical, and again the L, becoming physical again. Also this E again doesn't fit well, so if I fit the becoming physical and try to make it fit with the L again, okay, it's becoming as large as the M. So how do I interpret it? It's the materialization of M. The L is becoming physical, the E is insert, so it is the development of everything which is in it. The maximalization of which is in it is actually becoming almost like a physical activity. You can recognize the watermill a little bit like there. So the full materialization process is inserted into a process and is becoming physical and is becoming adapted in a physical process. That's how you can interpret it. In the end, you will do it automatically. You can see it, you can follow it, like that. Will as well, I said like the word, so the wave, this wave is going up somewhere and is becoming also more physical. So the will, from a very weak force going inwards to somewhere, is making itself more physical. Fill, just like this, everything is coming together, also inwardly and becoming more physical. It's coming from everywhere, it's going in and it's becoming more physical. It's filling in. I hope this approach would help you to see it from a different angle, the same things. You can try to visualize the same letters that I explained to you differently as signs of directions, the breaking of decay, becoming and stimulating the physical, becoming, let's say, with the L, the inwardly thing of the E, the A, the strongness of the O, the spaceness of the A, I would say, the spaceness of the O. All these things should be automatically associated with the associations that you get from hearing the vowels and the consonants individually, and then combine them and combine these features. It will go more quickly and more intuitively, and you can understand then in which directions the words are directing you from within, because these letters were chosen. What I mean with this video is that it started very early, in a very early stage of human development, even before we had these 4 seasons. The 4 seasons, we had a lot more directions that we needed to deal with and time schedules that we needed to deal with. But the basic ideas of directions are also there in the letters. This I, O, O, Ah, or L, He. All these kind of things are easily associated, and they get you into a way of thinking that you can combine them easily as concepts and direct you in the directions that are intended to be there in the letter combinations that you use for the directions that you want to show others in which directions they should go. Okay, that was it for this time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This was another maybe a slightly different approach, slightly new approach, but I hope you enjoyed. This was Gerald Johan van Waas. There's a website too, there's a YouTube channel which you have discovered with more demonstration and instructions on in a very short time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.